All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm Rome. This is the Oppo Find X9 Pro. We're doing a 1 month later. Let's get into it. All right, so first things first, I just want to go ahead and go around the outside of this device. I'm going to pop this case off. I love cases that come with phones, and I appreciate that they still send them with them, but the fingerprint magnet. But it does really accentuate the color of the actual device really nicely. So I keep it on there just because I like how it looks. But you guys know, if you've been watching my channel for a little while, I don't really use a lot of cases on my phones. But anyway, to the design. All right, we're going to go around it really quickly, and then we're going to get into the software and so on and so forth, okay? So first things first, on the right side of the screen, power, volume rocker, camera button. I don't know what they call it, but it's a camera button. On the top, you have your IR blaster. Left of the screen, you have your snap key. I have a love-hate relationship with this button, and we'll get into that in just a moment. On the bottom, you have your USB-C, SIM tray, speaker, mics, so on and so forth. All right. And to the screen on the front, this is I'm pretty sure this is a 6.78 display, the 6.78 inch display. LTPO OLED, all that good stuff. It does the refresh rate goes all the way down, comes all the way back up, and it helps protect the screen, use less battery, so on and so forth. Helps with your eyes, all that good stuff. All right. So anyway, let's jump in. Look at the specs. Of course, we have ColorOS. This is the global version of the device. And I'm going to say there a few times because I have people ask me over and over again in the comments on the videos about this device and a few other devices, whether it's the global version. This is the global version. I'm going to try to put it in the title of the video. I'm going to try to put it in as many places as I can. But anyway, quick look at the specs. You have your MediaTek Dimensity 9500. Great chip. No complaints. Getting it out of the way right now. 7,500 milliamp hour battery. Great battery. And we'll talk about that more when we get into the battery section. 16 gigs of RAMs, extended to 12 gigs on the actual storage on the device. Much slower than the actual RAM that's dedicated to, different processes, but it's available. And it'll help get you out of a pinch so you can clean your device up and get back down to where you can get back to the fast RAM. All right, cameras. You have your Lumo camera system, 50 megapixel on the front, 50 megapixel, I'm pretty sure it's 50 megapixel ultra wide, 200 megapixel telephoto periscope, and 50 megapixel wide. All right. Let's see. Yep, 6.78 inch display. Yep, boom, supports eye care, blah, blah, blah. So all of that being said, let's get into the software really quickly. ColorOS, one of my favorite mobile OSs, mainly because of the customization options that are built into, that are just baked right into the software. And here's what I mean. So if I long press in the empty space, go into wallpaper and style, you can basically edit everything from here, which I really, really like. But I mean, when it comes to the clocks, there's not going to be a ton of options, but you have a few. And you can resize the clock. And then you have your depth effects here, which I really like. And you can go into style and you can edit that. Blur. Choose the strength of it. Enlarge wallpaper. I can turn it off, on, off. Okay. Let's go back. Depth effect. All right. Always on display. You can go full screen, seamless, classic. And seamless is just basically this. Turn it, and then when you press the power button, it transitions out of the always on display into your lock screen, like nice smooth transition. All right. And you can go to your home screen and you can edit it even further. So you can make it match your lock screen, or you can choose its own individual wallpaper. You can do style once again. Choose how you want to make it look, the little effects you can put on top of it, blur it, wallpaper scrolling, The wallpaper moves as you scroll to your next screen. All right, I'll turn it off. I don't really like my wallpaper to move. System colors. You can choose that based on your wallpaper colors that it pulls from the wallpaper, or you can just do the basic stuff that comes on, or the basic colors, so on and so forth. All right, let's come out of that. Go into icons. One of my favorite things about ColorOS is the icons, the customization options that you get with the icons that come baked in. You can go in, and I like auto dark. I almost always keep my icons dark, but you can turn it off. And you can go in and apply different effects. Flux is going to be the ones that it pulls from your wallpaper, the wallpaper colors, and you can adopt system colors, so on and so forth. And let's see, let's go back in, and you could just manipulate it that way. I actually don't mind the system colors this time. You can make them larger, smaller, make them rounder, make them a full-on circle, more squarish, or more like a square with just more rounded edges. App name, so on and so forth. I don't know how I swiped out of that, but let's go back in. Long press, wallpaper and style. All right. And that, well, let me go back to icon. I'm going to show you a few more. You can go to material and turn that Art Plus icons on. It just changes that a little bit. And then you can do more. You can download icon packs and so on and so forth. So that's just one screen. I didn't even go into, let's go to home screen, lock screen style. And I didn't apply the Flux themes. And you can apply these and you can edit them. You can put your wallpaper in there to look however you want it to look. There are a lot of options just baked into this software. So that's ColorOS. That's why it's one of my favorite ones. That's why it helps improve the phone experience overall. I'm not saying that the phone experience is bad, but it helps. The OS plays a major part because that's what you're interacting with. Now, I will say here's one drawback, and it's in the camera software. So when you go into camera software, you see how that little macro icon pops up where you can get those nice little effects where it zooms in and it gives you like the texture, like really close, up close look at the whatever you're taking a photo of. If you're within a certain range, you can manage it. You can turn it on and off. Let me see. It's not letting me do it right now for some reason, but it let me do it earlier. It always wants to act up once you're on camera, right? So you can turn it on and off, but if you're not close enough to a subject or whatever, that option will not pop up and you can't manage it. Now, that being said, I just have not found a way to manage it. And I feel like one of my biggest gripes with the camera software is if there's a feature that's on the device, you should be able to manage it manually yourself at all times. I mean, now I know certain features are not available based on whatever lens you're on. That's fine. I understand it not being accessible then, but on whatever lens it is accessible on, you should be able to turn that on and off at your whim, whatever you want to do with that. Having to get within a certain range of a subject in order for it to appear on your screen, and then you can turn it on and off as you please. I don't care for that. So it's a minor gripe, and I won't harp on it too long, but it is a gripe of mine with the software. But since we were in cameras, let's go ahead and talk about them, get them on out the way, okay? So first things first, let's go ahead and hop into the camera album. And you'll see I use this thing for everything. I use this camera for everything. And I just take random pictures. Whenever I see something that I like, I just take a picture of it. And I'm confident that the camera is going to capture the scene appropriately. I enjoy the color signs that they use on this device, on the Oppo devices. I really enjoy them. And the pictures come out crisp almost all of the time. I did take a photo that I just was not happy with when I was out with friends. Where is that photo? My son running around shirtless. All right, yeah, I was hanging out with friends and I tried to snap a photo with us, and I'm holding the camera. You can tell by the way it's framed. that I couldn't see that I was using the main camera on here, and I couldn't really tell if it was in frame or not. But you could tell, like, it just, everything's kind of blurry, like, and I just wasn't impressed with it. So I would say a good 90% of the time, maybe 95% of the time, it's gonna capture whatever you're pointing it at. My son, like this, for example, my son was moving, he was eating, looking around, and it captured him, and it was nice and crisp. Really well done. So 95% of the time, it's gonna capture whatever you're pointing at. Like my son is moving all the time. And you could tell like those pictures just come out crisp, like really nice. But they're just every now and then it just won't capture what I'm pointing at, like and looking nice. Now, I'm gonna be fair. I was holding my arm out like fully extended and trying to capture it, make sure we were all in frame. And I was moving. So you take what you will from that, all right? But otherwise, I love this camera. It does an incredible job. I love the black and white photos that come out of it. But I'm gonna say this, since I'm in camera, like look at all these photos, just really nice. Even look at those black and white photos. I love black and white photos. They're so moody. But what I'll say is the design. Remember I mentioned the snap key earlier. This, I don't know if it's the button placement. I don't know if it's because I'm left-handed. I don't know if it's how I'm holding the phone. But when I'm taking photos with this phone, I'm getting something in frame. I bump this snap key button and it activates mind space on this phone. And it snaps the screen and it makes me miss my photo. And I bump this thing all the time, even when I'm trying to throw it in my pocket or I'm picking it up to do something really quickly. I activate this so I have a bunch of nonsense screenshots in here. just a bunch of them because I'm always hitting this button. I don't know what that's about. I don't know if I wish it was more firm or somewhere else. You know, I just don't know. I don't have a suggestion around it, but I do wish that it wasn't where it's at. That's all that I can say about that. All right. So jumping into battery, let's go into settings real quick. Take these specs in here with a grain of salt, simply because I got my Oppo Find N6 in recently and I've been spending a lot of time with that. But when this was my daily driver, I had no issues. I would actually, I'm at 38% right now, and I would take this phone and I would, if I stuck my main SIM card in it and used it for the rest of the day, I have no qualms. I have no doubts that I will make it through the rest of the day, even with this 38% right now. I'm dead confident this battery on this device is incredible. The Dimensity chips works really well with it. Everything is great. So battery life, I won't hang out here too long. Battery life is incredible on here. All right. And I'm a heavy user. I watch a ton of YouTube. I doom scroll on Instagram, blah, blah, blah. This battery is incredible. And that's even with it being global. That's even with it being global. As we all know, the global version of these Chinese devices, I mean, it's just Google services overall. Google services is a battery hog. And I use Android Auto quite a bit when I'm driving around. That stuff is just a battery hog heavily. And this battery still makes it through the day, no issue. So no complaints on battery, all right? The next section, I like to kind of combine them together, and that's haptics and speakers. Just because, I mean, they're typically a quick cover. So let's go ahead and jump into haptics. And I love this little thing that Oppo has on here where you just watch this video and you can just hold your hand there and you just feel the haptics. So what I'll say is that the haptics and the motor in this device, they are solid, really solid. Even though I haven't used a Samsung in quite a few years now, what I do remember is those motors in their devices are insanely strong. My wife's Samsung actually vibrates across her desk. I'm exaggerating a little bit. It doesn't move much, but you could hear it when those motors go off. When she gets a notification, that thing goes off and you hear it. These are strong, they feel refined, they feel nice, and I actually do feel this vibrate in my pocket. So the motors are plenty strong. And then you have options where you can increase the intensity. You can see right there, I had it almost cranked all the way up. And then you have a couple of different ones, like you have gentle and then you have crisp, where the haptics feel a little sharper. Yeah, a little more snappy, so on and so forth. So, they are solid. They are great. I kind of put Samsung's haptics. Like I said, I haven't used their device recently, but back when I had my S20, those motors were crazy. So you would not miss a notification with a Samsung in your pocket. But these are solid. They're really good, well rounded. Let's jump over to speakers. I'm not gonna blast these speakers because I really don't feel like it makes a difference in a video, but what I'll say is they are plenty loud. My son is insanely loud and I have no issues hearing these, and I don't even have to crank it up to max. They are really good speakers. I hope this is DMCA free music. Yep. But anyway, they are not bassy. The lows do hit a little bit. You don't miss them. You know when bass is playing in a song. It's not flat, but Honor has spoiled me with their speakers. They are really bassy and nice and just sound really good. I definitely I haven't used the iPhone, and I get a comment every now and then about iPhone speakers, but I'll say that Honor, as far as Android devices go, for me, has the best sounding speakers. But these are really good. You're not missing any lows or anything. They all sound really nice, really refined. So solid device, even with it only having a speaker at the bottom. So, I mean, take with that what you will. That's really good. But let's go ahead and wrap this bad boy up, okay? All right, guys. So in short, let's wrap this bad boy on up. The Oppo Find X9 Pro, easy suggestion. And lately my videos have been like that, where I feel like the companies have found their stride with their devices. They know who they are. They know where they want to go. And each year they're releasing really solid devices. What I'll say is, and I hate saying this because I love reviewing devices. They come out every year. They give me content to put out. But if they slow down a bit, these year-over-year upgrades on these devices will feel more meaningful. They could take their time and do more, just larger jumps from year to year. I mean, from, bi-yearly or whatever. year over year, the jumps are always going to be so minor. They're going to pump out a bunch of numbers at you at the end of the day, but when you're using the device, those changes feel minor. But with all that being said, the Oppo Find X9 Pro global, the global version is a go. I mean, easy suggestion. I mean, cameras are solid, battery life is great. Software Color OS, in my opinion, one of the best Android OSs. So take with that what you will. I really appreciate you guys, all right? Feel free to like and subscribe to the channel. All of it goes a long way. Helps me keep getting these phones so I can review them and talk to you guys about them. So feel free to like and subscribe, all right? I'll catch you later.